Hello and welcome to my final creative writing project for 2011. But first of all, let me say, initially I was disappointed in the course because it's such a heavy emphasis on poetry, not expecting more of a traditional, this is a hero, this is a villain, this is a novella, this is a plot structure, this is how you tie it all together. You gotta write interesting characters. This is showing, not telling, and so on and so forth. But I have to give credit where credit due is. Professor Clemente chose to teach a very unique side of creative writing. Most people don't usually embrace or see all that much, and so I have to say I was pleased overall with what we did over the semester. Some of it I didn't enjoy, but I enjoyed stretching my boundaries as a writer, and flexing my muscles, so to speak. On the subject of poetry, however, I had a tough time choosing stuff to do tonight. If only because I write my poetry to be read off a page and not spoken. Not to mention, I've always had a stigma against reading my own stuff, and so it's very difficult to imagine myself reading it. I mean, I'm the kind of guy who gets nervous reading a speech. Even if I have it verbatim in front of me, I get nervous reading it, and I stammer and stutter, as you can probably see in this video. However, I happen to have the most lovely girlfriend in the world, and so she has agreed to read one of my pieces for me. And so, without further ado, I present my lovely girlfriend, Natasha Marquand, and the poem Ring.
The Ring by Craig Sedlacek. Silver glinting in the light, forged from hope and love wound tight. A heart placed just so, a beloved reminder of what we both know. Of a future, a man, a family, a wedding, a kiss. Sworn to you and you alone, for I hid in this ring a promise.
I hope you enjoyed Ring. I know Tash really enjoyed it. She was overjoyed when I gave her the poem and it was attached to the promise ring I'd given her for her anniversary, and she was overjoyed with it. When I was talking to Tash about this project, and I was like, I need some help picking some poems or pieces of writing I can do for this, but I don't want to use the ones I've already written for the semester. People have seen those, professors have seen those, and to be honest, I don't feel they're worthy of being recited, since I'm, like I said, I'm of the mind that I write myself to be read, not spoken. Tash selected Ring for me because, in her mind, she said she'd never really viewed a ring like that before. She says it's mostly a very lovely trinket and something you have for marriage and relationship, but it's expected out of tradition, and she never really put thought into the meaning of a ring. She usually thought about just the ring itself, and not what was behind it. And so I was surprised she picked that, and I was more happy and surprised that she got to recite it for me. In that regard, Ring's genesis comes from with no particular style in mind, just as the best manifestation of my feelings I can give to her. As a writer, I'm very big on symbolism, like, if a character dies, he's born, there's a phoenix motif, and light versus dark, and characters who are on the fence have the dark and gray clothing and weapon style, and people are, by the stars, I will avenge your death, or I'll stop this madman, and that kind of thing. Very heavy in that way, and so, with Ring, that's kind of as I was drawing upon it, and it was the most potent symbol I could think of at the time. And it still is in my mind. She has the promise ring now, and she wears it every day, and she can't get enough of it. She loves showing it off to people and everything. And like I said, it's just a promise ring that we're committed to our relationship, and we're going to try to make it work despite the distance and time difference. Excuse me, I'm stuttering. Since she lives in England, and there's such a massive time difference that she's up late into the night while it's in the afternoon here, and it's so expensive to fly over and see each other. Yeah, that's all I have to say on this one. Just getting a second to dig up the next one, and we'll go from there. The next piece I want to read is a very dark piece, stemming from a bad time in my life, and I wrote it as a way to manifest the feelings of that time, and cope with them and deal with them objectively without having to face myself, as it were. So there's not much else I can say on this subject, so without further ado, I'm going to present a poem that is only entitled State of Mind. A road do I walk, flat and sturdy and always visible. A cloak have I, sturdy and strong to drive back the elements. A map have I, clear as a bell and detailed to perfection. A heart have I, steady and strong. A quest have I, the stuff that legends are born from. A light have I, kind and warm. For the road is fullness of the void, shadowed in all sight. So the path is to nowhere, for there is no method to be lost in nothing, and destinations are ever present. The cloak is cut from fear, stitched with doubt, and led by a needle of hesitation. Elements of soul and light and love only crash against it in uselessness. The map is oblique soul, known only in this void as it draws shadows on its own, and the details are only a face which a mirror will not look. The heart beats twice as slow as it needs to be fast, and strength comes only from that is all there is, no measure can outweigh itself. A quest moves my feet, but is only a quest to run from the moment before. The legend is stillborn as there is no breath there's no victory to breathe life into it. And the light is bleak and black and is kind, for that its cold is only less than that of the void. Cry for me, Phoenix. Cry in sorrow and pain at what not should be, and bring stars to my sky with tears of flame. Scream in rage and anger so that you may not, so that you may blow the roaring silence and the deafening quiet, and stir my soul with your cries. Crash down and wreathe me in the flames of your passion and love. Just sear my cloak to ash and warm my heart. Scatter the void into mist and blaze my heart into an inferno. A path unknown, but only made by going forwards. There is no going back. To trust heart and soul and strength of oneself and hope of the beloved. That is the mission. Love to find, to understand, to know. Iris and rose planted in the soil of future impatience grow intertwined, halves of whole they did not know they were part of, pieces that are multiplied by the sum of their parts. Destiny is unknown, but challenged together, that is the fate of the phoenix and her traveler. Light blending away darkness, black light woven with flame, beauty reflected through the window, eyes of the gorgeous soul hidden from self, but known to in the shade of the reflection seen through love's eyes. State of Mind, I think, is a very good example of my usual style of poetry. I never learned how to write poetry formally, and there's no class, no teacher sat down and showed me this. I made it up as I went, and I called it poetry, and therefore it was good. State of Mind, I think, as a whole, shows that I tried to make someone think about my poetry, to be evocative in ways they didn't think could be so. For example, when most poetry about someone crying is very sad and depressing, and this is a tragic loss. But here, the line "cry in sorrow and pain at what not should be, and bring stars to my sky with tears of flame." He's not wanting her to stop crying. He's wanting her to cry so that he has warmth and light, and he can see again, and that she knows he cares. That her sorrow washes away the fear and hesitation and doubt and trapping his love, and it makes him feel better overall. And most of this poem was written off the cuff. It flowed out as it came. There was no debating about what to write. No searching for the Thesaurus dictionary. So I think overall it came out very nicely, despite there's no real concentrated effort to put into this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you all were pleased with it. I do think that I won't ever get this poem published, because it's personal nature to me. But I was glad to have a chance for people to share it. And I was glad to have a chance to share it with you all, and hope you, provide feedback and tell me things about it. Because, as authors, we all like having feedback, right? That's all I have to say on this on the subject of recitations. They mostly speak for themselves. I'm glad I had a chance to share them, and I do encourage people to experiment more and to participate more in discussion boards. And I would wonder if we had to do like a video every 2 weeks about what we've written and what we've done, that people would get more involved in the writing itself and more open and communicating with each other. Because words on a screen are effective, but there's only so much they can convey. They can't convey tone and intent and so on and so forth. So that's something I urge always to keep in mind when we become teachers, to take advantage of technology like this and so on and such. Hey, if kids are gonna be looking at YouTube, you might as well have them looking at something for class, right? Okay, and I'm starting to ramble, so thank you everyone for paying attention and listening and reading this, and I hope you enjoy your night.